All right. Good freaking morning, everybody. How are we doing on this amazing post-Super Bowl Monday? Oh, my God. What a day yesterday, huh? I got so much to talk about today. It's going to be, I'm not sure if I can roll dice or not. There's so much to go over with, my God. And it all starts with winning. So much winning. Oh, my God. But you know what? It's easy to talk about football, but I'm going to start with something else. And bear with me here while I get my phone up. This is not my story to tell, but I'm going to tell it anyway. I'm not even sure if he's here or not. But during the Super Bowl yesterday, during one of the breaks, I was checking my phone and stuff, and I saw this note come by on Facebook, and it was from Waylon. And Waylon says, "Thank you, sweet Jesus. Thank you for all the continued prayers and the love and support from my son, Zach. Christ is King." And it goes on with a longer version of the story, but it sounds like Zach had his last dose of chemo. He's taken it well, and it's over. The PICC line is gone. Couple side effects laying around still, but it sounds like they have crossed the mountaintop. Like they're on the way to full recovery over there. So it sounds like his son did really well with the chemo. Of course, he's young and strong, right? So Waylon, prayers to you and your family and your son. I'm stoked, dude. I wrote, like, in the middle of the game, I'm like, kind of like, totally sidetracked by this because, having a son who's in his 20s and a daughter who's 19, it's like, man, I can't even imagine what you're going through over there. So, the first winner of the weekend is Waylon. So we got to call that out. I think it's really cool. We have a lot of friends who are over in Vegas. Ian and Jen among them, playing with the Premier Hosting Group, and apparently there was a monster freaking roll last night that everybody won a ton of money on, so they're all winning, and of course the Eagles are winning, right? We'll talk about the Horseman winning too in a minute, but I'm so glad Chris is here, man. Chris, good to see you, buddy, and Lou and everybody from the East Coast. Congratulations to all of you and all of us. It's been a long time. So, I am a dual citizen, right? I'm born and raised in Philly, first love, right? And I'm telling you, like Chris, speaking right to you, enjoy this. I grew up being an Eagles fan in the early days, right? And our first Super Bowl was the 1980 season when they lost to the Raiders. And that was a good time. We had Dick Vermeil, we had Harold Carmichael and Ron Jaworski and all the guys, right? We thought we were good. Guess what? 25 years later, it took us 25 years of misery just to get back. Just to get back and lose, right, to the freaking Patriots, right? Brutal, right? Then we had that run of Andy Reid getting to the NFC Championship 4 years in a row and finally breaking through. Like 25 years of misery. And then we're like, okay, good, we got it. We got McNabb, we're all set, right? And 13 years later, it takes so long to get to a Super Bowl, right? You got to just love it, dude, when it happens, right? It's because it's just so rare. What the Chiefs did, getting the Super Bowl 3 times in a row is amazing. The Bills did it too, obviously. It's unreal getting there and winning it, right? When I moved to Seattle in the early 90s, then I become kind of a dual citizen, right? Picked up the Seahawks, and I'm a huge Seahawks fan since I've lived here, obviously. Now, luckily, those two teams have not played anything meaningful, so I haven't had to worry about, my loyalties there yet. But the Hawks, of course, got screwed out of a Super Bowl one year, and then they dominated. And I think that the coolest thing is that both the teams that won, right, and the Hawks in 2013, the Eagles yesterday, the best thing in the world, and I mean, and I'm talking to you, Chris and Lou, and all you guys, right? The best thing in the world is that it was literally belt on ass the whole game. I mean, the whole game, right? Nobody gave the Seahawks, not one person picked the Seahawks to win against the Broncos. Not one person. Best offense of all time. Fucking smackdown, right? Yesterday, same thing. Chiefs are favored. Everybody's, the three-peat. It's guaranteed, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? It's going to be a close game. Everybody said it's going to be a one-score game. Watch out for the Chiefs in the fourth quarter, one-score game. Fuck that. It was an ass whooping yesterday from the get. I think the Chiefs didn't cross the 50 until the game was out of hand. I think the Chiefs didn't have but 14 or 16 yards almost at halftime. It was like I said, it was belt on ass all day. It was amazing, right? Just poof, awesome, right? So Chris, enjoy it. Like I said, I dealt with in my childhood the Phillies getting getting right to the end, and the Dodgers beating them every freaking year. The Dodgers knocked us out of the playoffs. Finally broke through in 1980. 28 years later before we got back, right? I know that you were, in '08, you were. I had the video of you catching the ball. It's really, really hard when your teams are struggling for years. And like Mariners never been to a World Series, right? Very hard. So when it comes, you just gotta just go all in, baby. I mean, I'm so over the moon. Anyway, let's talk about more winning. No, I'm talking about that year. No, I'm talking about the year Duracell. Not that one. I'm talking about when they lost to the Steelers in '03. That's what I'm talking about. The Seahawks screwed them themselves in that game. I'm talking about way back. Watch that game again someday. That'll tear your heart out. Anyway, other than that, who else is winning? The Horseman's winning. We got to talk about this. Ken's out here in the chat. Good morning, Ken. Ken ran the Horseman, the Headless Horseman, for 20 days. He ran 20 days, but 20 sessions, right? He actually went beyond it, and it went 22-0 on Ken's show. And Ken, except for the first day, played it the exact same way every single day. He played it straight every single day, no variations. He made one tweak to it, which I really love the tweak, by the way. And that son of a gun just did it. It fought back. It was down to his last bullet a couple times, and it fought all the way back, right? Lost $2,000 and all the way back and won $300 in the end, right? Amazing. Our friend Jimmy couldn't believe it, right? God forbid something else wins besides what came out of Jimmy's brain, right? Jimmy goes and runs it, and of course does it completely wrong, right? He does it with the ladder. He actually martingales everything. It's a shit show, right? But he still went like 16 or 17-0, even with his bad tweaks. The whole time he's griping about what. There's no way this wins. The math is bad. Blah blah blah. He did a second live and went 12-0, and then I think he burned on the last one. Well, he went like 12-1 or something like that, or 18-1 on the second show. Again, not playing it right, but still can't believe it. The whole time he's like, I can't believe this wins. And there's no way this should win. It's the bad math and blah blah blah. Right? Guess what? It is a winner. The strategy is a winner, and there's reasons for it. We're going to go over some of the reasons for why the Horseman wins today. And Duracell wants to know. I will show you the tweak later on. It's not a big tweak. It's a little tweak. It's just a difference. And somebody else actually asked me about how does the originator feel about the tweak. I love the tweak. And I think one thing about the Horseman that I like the best is that as a foundational strategy, it is strong as a foundation. Ken proved that at its base core, no variations level, son of a bitch is strong. You have options in it, and that's what I love about it. You can play it how you want to beyond the base. So let's move ahead here a little bit and get the dates out of the way and remind you all what's going on, right? We have the Casino Quest Bridge in a couple of weeks, February 22nd. I'm going to be in Vegas that whole week now, it looks like. So I'm going to be working on site at Casino Quest doing some stuff the whole week. So I'll be there. The AC group is meeting the 18th to the 23rd. Louis corrected me. It's not going to be at Caesars. Most people are going to be at Harrah's, I guess. But I think it's a Caesars Properties kind of a multiplier thing. So anyway, February 18th to 23rd. If you can get there, hang out with the boys from the East over there. See, Casino Tier seminars, March 7th to 9th. I forgot to check with that again. Sorry about that. But it looks like Sunday is still open. Big Izzy's meetup is going to be the end of March, and Brownwater Bash mid-May. I'll see you at all those things, hopefully. Everything, all the travel stuff working out. I should be at everything. We are not going to do, by the way, a daily dose of DI today. I want to skip this. I'll do it tomorrow. I will give you a little bit of a preview though. I had a session with Ed. The idea has always been, let me do the book of 720, let Ed and I do a show where we kind of go over it, and then let Gargoyle come back and tweak my toss. All that's happened, right? Ed and I recorded a show where he went through Bone Tracker with me and showed me everything in Bone Tracker that I have done with the toss and whatever else. It's 2 hours, and I got to cut a few parts of it out, but really I'm going to play it essentially straight, 2 hours straight. I may put that as members only because it's 2 hours, and 2 hour videos are going to be crushing to the channel. I may do that. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. I will cut parts of it out for tomorrow. I do want to show you some highlights. There are some good things that we did with the toss that Ed pointed out. And again, it's not about kudos and adulations here. It's about a couple of things that Bone Tracker pointed out that were interesting. that I didn't expect. I knew the SRR was good. I didn't know what that really meant. He explained it to me. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. So I'll give you some highlights tomorrow, and I'll tell you what Gargoyle told me about my toss too, and the tweaks he's going to make with me for my toss. And while I'm on that subject, Gargoyle and Jeff tomorrow night live. Tuesday night they're going to do the chopper toss. So I'm going to be in chat, just yucking it up with everybody, working the chopper with the G. So that's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, tomorrow will be more of a DI kind of a day. We'll talk about my stuff and everything else. But really today, I want to answer this question, which is why. Yeah, I know. I don't know what to do with it, Doris. I don't want to put a 2-hour video out here, and I don't want to cut it. I don't want to cut it in half. I don't want to make 3 short videos because the thing is, Ed is so good at this shit. Like Ed just kind of goes here to here to here to here, and it's like this really great flowing conversation. It's 2 hours though. It's like I don't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? And I don't want to have it, mess the algorithm up. We'll figure it out. I don't know yet. Mark Mad Hatter. Okay, here's the thing. For rooms for CFTC, there will be a discount. We already have this figured out, part of it. At Palace Station, or actually any station, but really Palace Station because it's walking distance. There's a discount code that we'll give you for 25% off the room. So whatever Palace perks you got, 25% off as well as that. We're also trying to get an additional special extra discount for this. I'm trying to get that discount to be 50%, but for sure it's a quarter. We get 25% off no matter what because Casino Quest is hosting us, and through them we get the discount at Palace. So for sure at Palace, 25% off. I'm trying for more than that, but that's a given. So there it is. All right, you're saying just do it. I'll put it up there. I got to cut a little piece of it out because we went off on a little tangent there. If you don't mind, I'll do. It doesn't matter really. Anyway, here we go. Why does the Horseman win? Here's the thing that nobody can seem to figure out. Why? And I remember having all these arguments with like PJ Strong and others, right? These math guys. Oh, it's a hedge. It's blah blah blah. It wins because it wins, and you got to play it right. I'm going to go to the table while I talk about some of this stuff, but I'm going to come back. Okay. Here's the highlights of it. Right. It's a scoped amount per shooter. Right? We talk about, bring enough money for X number of shooters. This one really does limit you and said, look, you're going to put up 5 units or 4 units or 6 units or 7 units per shooter, period. Same as the come ladder, right? You just never dig into your rack. Once you go out with what I'm going to go out with, that's what it is until that shooter is completely done playing. All the bets resolve, right? If you deviate from that, you're going to get beat. Okay, this is where Jimmy went wrong. Jimmy tried really hard to beat it because, again, I know he did not want any strategy to go undefeated because he's the GOAT, right? He tried really hard to beat it by fucking it up. You cannot mess this thing up. You got to go exactly as it is. When you do, you're going to be, generally speaking, okay. You reset the rack after every series. It takes discipline to play this one, right? Really hardcore. You don't go back into your rack on losses. You don't chase your losses with a ladder. You stick to your budget every single time. Now, within the budget, you've got options, but you stick to your budget. If you don't stick to your budget, you're going to get beat. And it's just the way it is. It's one of these things where you play this thing relatively strict early. You can go a little bit nuts late, but you've got to stick to it. Ken and I have been talking about discipline since the first day of my channel, right? Discipline is what it's all about. Money management. It's to me, it is the key to this whole thing, right? It's not going to guarantee you a win, but it's going to help you mitigate loss, right? It's going to set you up to get the win. Discipline is the key to this whole thing. It's why it went 22-0 on Ken's show. It's why, even though Jimmy tried to beat it, it went 18-1 or whatever the hell it was, right? It's why when I play it, most of the time I come out on top, right? There's times where you're going to catch the golden nightmare and you're going to lose. It happens. Like every strategy, it happens, right? But most of the time, it wins because of the way we scope the amount of money per shooter and the way we stick to the budget. Now, is it going to hit a home run? No. You're not. Are you going to win $7,000 in one shooter? No. It's not that kind of a strategy, right? It's made for, as you'll see, the ugly. But there's lots of options. You can change the bet ratios. You can do conversions, right? You can take odds, etc. Let me zoom in really quick. I'm going to go to my table view. I'm going to show you a couple of things with it. Let me get this out of the way here. Right. let's look at some of it, okay? Like the tweaks. And I'll give you the really simple version. We'll do the 5-unit version, okay? Actually, I'll do the 4-unit version. We'll start with the 4-unit. The original Horseman was 4 units, all right? It was 1 don't pass bet, and then 3 come bets of the same size. Doesn't matter what they are. This could be nickels, quarters. It doesn't matter what this bet is, as long as they're all the same, 1 to 1. And the idea was, if you can dodge the bullet on the come out and catch a number, doesn't matter what the number is, right? And you put a come bet out there, right? You're going to win on the 7. This is a dark side strategy. People don't realize it. Horseman's a dark side strategy. It's not a hybrid strategy. It's dark side, right? We're trying to win on the 7. If the 7 comes here, the PSO that we all know and love, you win 2 units, whatever that is. If the number goes up, let's say they roll an 8 and the come bet moves to 8, your second come bet comes in. You 7 out on roll 2. Okay, sure, you lose your come bet, right? But you're going to win here and here, right? For that series, you're actually up a unit, right? You're going to be up 1. You had 4 to start with, right? You had 1 here, 1 goes to the 8, 1 in the come. You have 1 in reserves, right? When this loses, but they both win, now you have 5, right? That was the idea. If both come bets get set, right, your 4th bullet in the come, if the 7 comes on this roll, you tie. You lose 2, but you win 2, and you tie. The idea was that you'd be tied. If all 3 get set, now you flip the switch. Now you're on the right side. Okay? This bet here, yeah, it cancels one of them out. It's kind of a hedge. You really are 2 bets at risk at this point. Okay? You could get picked on the point, but you got 2 bets that are really at risk because if the 7 comes, 1 pays 1, 2 bets lose, right? So you'd be down a couple of units. That was the original, right? I like it better with 5 units, even more, actually. I like it better with, if I can afford it, 6 units is even better, but check it out. 5 units is 2 on the don't, and then 3 come bets. Difference being on the PSO, you win 3 units, right? If one travels and you get a 7 out here, right, these 2 cancel, but you win 2 units as your net. You get 2 of them up there, and your 3rd bullet, the 7 comes here. Those 2 pay that one wins, and you're out with still an extra unit of profit. You still win 1, right? So the 5 unit, that's what Ken did. Ken did the 5 units, 2 and 3, right? Even in that case, you win 1. If you think about it, going 3 units here and make it a 6-unit play, you're always good, right? You're going to win even when they're all set. Now you're in a total hedge situation, right? Even when they're all set, you still really can't lose unless they pick your point, which is pretty cool, right? 4 to 1, same thing. Only thing in 4 to 1, when they're all 3 set, even on the 7, you win a unit. So if you can afford 4 to 1, it's great. I love that part of it. I love the part that it's a dark side early strategy. It's what it's made for. Now, the tweak that Ken made was this. If you have a 5-unit play, right? And let's say that you on the come out, you burn it. You get a 7 on the come out. Like, God, that sucks, right? So Ken's tweak was this. What I would normally do is say, well, that sucked. Go out at 1 unit. You have 2 choices. Go out at 2 units and do 1 come bet. Go out at 1 unit, 2 come bets, or 1 unit and 50, 50, 50, right? Just reduce everything down. What Ken did was say, well, that sucked. Screw it. Go all 3 in the don't, right? Here's where your options are, right? He never goes back to his rack for anything extra. He says, well, that blew. We lost our 2. All 3 here. All 3 of them go right there, and he takes his crack at it. Now, he's burned this a few times. He's come out 7'd himself, and he's done the point pick and lost the whole thing. It happens, right? But a lot of times what happens is he wins right here. Set a point of 9, 7 out, win 3 units, and guess what? You won a unit. Get your money back plus 1. That's Ken's tweak. I love that tweak, by the way. That's a great way to do it, right? We call it the FU bet, right? Got lost, FU, man, we're going to go back out again, right? And we'll take our shot at winning our 3. That was the tweak. I think it's a great tweak, right? There's so many things you can do with this strategy as you're playing it. You get here, you get a come bet, and it gets set. Let's say the point's 8. 3rd come bet. Let's say that a come bet wins. Say the 9 wins. The 9 wins here, right? You can do a lot of things. You can just take the $100 back to your rack and keep it. You can take the payment as greens and grab some other numbers, right? and take your bet plus a quarter back to your rack and take a little bit of profit but keep on playing. You can start transitioning. You could have taken that $100 that you won. Here's your come bet down plus your winnings, and you could have said, well, you know what? The point is 8. Let's just go, we'll lay on the 8 for $100. You can do whatever you want to with it, right? You can take and have all the options you want after the bets are set. I love all of that, right? It's a good thing. As far as like why it wins because you're disciplined. You never go in for more than 500. Let's go back to the other camera here. You never go in for more than 500. And I think that's the secret to it. The money management is the secret to it. All right, so here we go. Next up, and I'm going to keep talking about it. I think it's important because there's more things to get here. Why else does it win? Okay, here's the dark side part, the interesting math of this thing, right? Here's some numbers y'all ought to know. Okay, and I think most people know these numbers, but I'm going to repeat them. The average roll length is 8.5. We know this. It's not 6, it's 8.5 because remember you got to include the come out rolls and the final 7. So the average total roll length is 8.5, right? Here's the big one though, and I want you to remember this, okay? This is an important one. The average rolls to resolve a pass line bet is 3.375, okay? A little over 3. The average pass line bet resolves in a win or a loss after the, with the puck, including the setting the point, puck going on, and the puck being turned off by a 7 out or the number being made, 3.375 for a point to be resolved. That's not a lot of rolls, right? Now, what number matches the Horseman there? Okay, if the average rolls to resolve a pass line bet is a little over 3, and the Horseman makes 3 come bets, right? We're looking at most of the time being in that zone, that 3 or below zone where the average pass line bet resolves. Now, sometimes it resolves with the point being hit, the buckshot. You're going to lose the don't. Most of the time, it resolves for you in this strategy where a come bet gets paid on a 7 on the way out and you're making money. Okay, that's an important number to know. You may not know that number. Now, here's the other thing, right? The box numbers per roll, right? 24% of the time, you get nothing in the box, right? 16% of the time, you get 1. 12% of the time, you get 2, right? It's a 52% failure rate. 52% of the time, those 3 come bets don't get set. That's the reality of it. More than half the time, you don't get all 3 come bets set. That's reality. Again, this strategy is made for that. It's not made to be all the odds. It's not made to be this right side hammer. It's not made for any of it. It's made for the 3.375 average roll length for a pass line bet to resolve, for a point to resolve. And it's made for the 52% fail rate. That's what it's for. And that's why it works. This is the reason why this freaking thing wins. It doesn't win a mint. You're not going to go retire on it, but it wins, okay? The odds of the 7, this is from the Wizard of Odds, the odds from the 7 coming on roll 1, 2, or 3 are about 10%, right? Again, a 33% easy win rate for us on this thing. This is why it wins. When Ken won it, most of the time, right? How many? 22-0 or whatever it was. I'll bet you out of the 22, I'll bet you 15 of them were first shooter. First shooter goes out, gets a don't point set, PSO, done. Bye-bye, go home. He had how many 4-minute videos did Ken have in this thing, right? Because it won so fast, right? The times where he had to fight for it, he had to fight for it a little bit, right? But most of the time, you're in this world here where it's 3 rolls. 3 rolls or less, and that's why that thing is so freaking genius. I love it, right? How does it lose? We know how it loses, right? There's the 3 big danger spots. There's the come out 7, which takes your don't, right? If you had come bets up, it kills the come bets. If you get picked off on the don't and then have your come bets lost on a come out 7, it happens. That's the golden ugly, we call it. Set the point, set your 3 come bets, pick the point off, and then come out 7. It happens, right? But here's the thing. The worst thing that can happen when it happens is what? You lose that 1 bullet. Your shooter's a bullet. You lose your 5 units. That's the worst thing that can happen to you. It isn't like you're laddering and going, oh, the don't got picked off for $200. Let's go 400. Oh, we lost the point. Go to 800. We're not doing that. We're not going to burn our bankroll like Jimmy tried to do. We're not going to do that. We're going to go, okay, it's 5 units or it's 6 units or it's whatever the ratio you're going for is. Whatever it happens to be is what it happens to be. You're not going to lose more than that. It's going to suck when that happens. Most of the time, that ain't going to happen 2 shooters or 3 shooters in a row, right? It happens to you once, go, oh, Terrible, right? You win $100, win $100, win $300, and you're back to normal again. That's what happens with it. It just grinds itself back. It's very, very cool. Yeah, I hear you, Gary. It happens a lot, right? You're going to get this hit the point, come out 7. It does happen. There's no question that the golden ugly happens. It happens infrequently enough. And like we were talking about on Ken's show, let me go back here again. This also happens a lot because you got to picture this, right? You go out there with your 5, and let's say you get that. You set 2, you set a point, and you come, right? And you go like 6, 9, 10. They roll an 8, you lose your don't. Puck goes off, they roll a 7, you lose all 3, and you're like, shit, that was horrible, right? The golden ugly, we call it, right? Very next shooter, though, how many times it can do this? Next shooter comes up, he puts his 2 out, come out 7, right? And he goes, oh my God, I lost that one too. Now you're down 7 units, and he puts out his 3, the FU bet, and he wins the FU bet, right? Okay, cool. That shooter's clean. He got 1 back from the guy that lost the 500. Okay, cool. Back out of $200. First comeback comes in, 7 out, right? Boom, boom, boom. Now he's got 4 units back from the first shooter that got destroyed, right? All of a sudden, you're back. Doesn't take much to fight back, and that's why if you go to your rack, say, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 more away from being caught up again, right? The third shooter after that sets a point, sets a comeback. Next comeback comes in. Here comes the 7. Those two pay, and guess what? You're back to even again, just like that. This is how it comes back in the fight. So yes, the golden ugly is there, but it does work itself out, given a bunch of time, right? So anyway, I had to cover it today because it's interesting, and there's people that want it to lose because they didn't think of it, or whatever. I don't know. I don't get it. But Ken worked it, made it win. I've done it a bunch of times and it's won. I like the options in it. I'm more aggressive with it. I'm more like if any of the come bets pays, I'm putting that money right back out again. I've played it with a rolling come bet, right? Where instead of just racking the money, if a come bet pays, I'm back in the come. And let 3 come bets always be happening, right? Because you're always going to get that 7. You can put the $100 back in your rack, right? And then play for the 7 again, and keep playing for the 7 as you go. The more come bets you have, the more 7s you're going to win on, right? Whatever. It's fun. It's fun, and I'm so glad that it won. All right, while we're here, yeah, Ken says rack the money, right? And again, the reason why Ken won so much is because he racked the money, right? I like taking the comeback and going back out, but whatever. It's to his own, right? Here's something else that Jimmy said, and David from Casino Quest has done this video too. I want to clear some of this stuff up too with come bets, and I think there's this huge misunderstanding with come bets, and hopefully JR, who I know plays some come betting, will back me up on some of this stuff. Okay, one thing I hate to hear people say is the number's got to hit twice for you to win. It doesn't. Okay, it's the biggest lie out there. It feels like it's true. It ain't true. The number doesn't have to hit twice for you to win a come bet. That's just a lie, okay? A number does have to roll a second time after it's set for you to win, but that bet itself does not have to have the same number roll twice. That's an important thing to understand. And also, the flat bet, the flat come bet, is a better house edge than anything else on the table. Even without odds, the flat come bet is a better house edge than the 6 or 8 or anything else out there. Even without the odds, it's still the best bet that you can make besides the flat don't. Okay, remember that. You got to consider the totality of the bet. And here's what I want you to think about. Okay, and watch what I'm going to talk about here. While that bet is in the come, and I'm going to show this to you. The 8 has 5 ways to win. If you're placing the 8, let's say, has 5 ways to win, 6 ways to lose, 25. Who cares? It's going to be something else, right? The come bet, while it's in the come, 8 ways to win. That's more ways than the 8 to win. It's 8-5 advantage over who's going to win, right? 4 ways has more ways to win, less ways to lose, and less ways. That's a who cares outcome. You actually have an extra roll to your advantage there. And after the come, they're both the same. Let's look at that on the table. Let me go back to the table one more time here, and I want to show you this in reality. Okay, people who say this is bullshit. I'm going to put this 8 out here. $30. Put a $30 8. They say, well, if the point's 10, let's make the numbers even. $30 come bet, right? They say, well, it's got to roll twice, and if you roll an 8, You're just getting there, and I'm getting paid 35 bucks. Okay? Well, that assumes that it's actually the 8 that rolls. If you're only betting, let's say the 6 and the 8, and I got 30 bucks in the come, and the come goes to the 9, then your argument goes into the toilet, number one, right? Because if you're just betting here and I go here, we're in the same spot. We both wasted a roll. But and this argument can only make sense if you're here. If you have every single number bet, and I've got 30 bucks in the come, let's say, right? Then you can say, well, while you're getting there, I'm getting paid. That argument only holds water if you're betting everything. Okay, so remember that. But let's look at one number in isolation. Let's take just the 8 in isolation. Again, right now, if we use greens, I can win this bet 8 ways, right? For one roll. Let's look at the one roll that we're here. I can win it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ways I can win it. You, on the 8, can win it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways. I have more green chips than you. I have a better chance of winning that bet than you do on one roll. Matter of fact, I can only lose it 4 ways. I can lose it to the 2, 3, or 12. You, on the 8, can lose it how many ways? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways. Okay? I got a 2-to-1 advantage on one roll. You've got a 5 to 6 disadvantage on the next roll of the dice. Okay? You got to consider the come bet in this scenario. As it's in the come for that one roll, I can have a 2-to-1 advantage. You got a 5 to 6 disadvantage. Okay? For the privilege, or for the, I guess your fee to the casino, because you are at a disadvantage, you get paid more. You're going to get paid a little extra. You're going to get paid the extra $5, right? Because you're taking the hit, right? You got the hammer against you. They're going to give you an extra $5. That's how that kind of thinking works, right? Here, I have the extra hammer here. I'm ahead. I'm getting paid even, right? So our payment size is different, right? But you're taking the heat. You're the one that's upside down back there, so you get the little spiff on the payment versus me. But look at that from a one bet standpoint, one roll standpoint. The come better has an enormous advantage over the 8, right? Sure, you can say when it goes to the 8, now you got paid and I didn't. But that one roll, disaster could strike, right? And remember this too. When you lose, I win. When you lose, I win. That's interesting, right? So not only do I have the hammer 2-to-1, you have upside down 5 to 6. If you lose your bet, I win the bet. So that you're getting paid while I get set argument also gets destroyed when we say I get paid and you lose. When you get paid, I don't lose. I just move, right? You get paid, and that's great. I love that you get paid. My bet just moves in. I didn't lose anything when you got paid. You lose when I get paid in here. On the 7, which is interesting. So remember that. Look at the bet in its these come bets are interesting. Look at them in their totality. Okay? Now that we're set, here's where now we're both here. We're both in that same spot. We're both in the same 5 to 6 thing, and we're both going to get, the same probability of winning or losing. The difference then becomes, okay, you get 35 and I get 30, right? The difference, the delta here is $5. It's a cup of coffee. It's a big percentage difference, but it's not a lot of financial difference. Okay, I'll take that for the 2-to-1 advantage here. I'll take this little $5 hit. Now, again, you would have gotten paid 35 the first time, right? So you're technically speaking, you're going to be up 35, $40 over me in that case. I'll take that. I'll take that for the one roll hammer, okay? Does the bet have to hit twice for me to win? The number has to roll twice for a bet to be resolved, right? But while it's here, while this come bet is in the come, that bet doesn't know yet that the 8 has to roll twice. Doesn't even know. We don't know what the number is going to be yet. So once it rolls, now I moved in, the 9 has to roll one time for me to win. Right? It rolled once to get me there. It has to roll one time, only one time, for it to win. Remember, I have this other roll that I'm looking at here, and that's a big advantage, right? When you do the analysis of, let me just place the 8 and let me just do a come bet, guess who wins all the time? You do this for 100 million rolls, this guy beats that guy every single time. And the reason why is because that one roll in the come is incredibly common, right? The 7 and 11 winning in the come is so much more common. This guy beats the shit out of that guy over time. Even though the house setters are the same, this beats that almost every single time. Come bets are so powerful. People don't realize how strong this bet is when it's in here. And it accounts for everything else. It accounts for all of it. Now, if you want to go ahead and drop odds on it, great, right? I get it. That lowers the edge and all that kind of stuff, but that increases your risk. Just make sure that we're not telling lies about these things, right? I know a lot of people say, you know, it's got to roll twice and I'm getting paid on here. That logic only works when you're betting them all, right? You cannot claim that I'm getting paid while your comeback gets set unless you have every single bet covered up top. It's an important thing to remember, all right? Let's come on back. Let's come on back and do some more talking. Do you have any questions, by the way? I see, let's see. It wins because it's low house edge. No, I think you're wrong about that. It does win because it's low house edge, right? And low house edge, by the way, does not mean, and again, another lie that's told by people, betting low house edge bets does not mean you're going to be a winner. It doesn't mean it means you're going to lose less over time if you just make the same bets. That's a true statement. It doesn't win. A bet being a low house edge does not mean it's more winnable. I think some people think that, and we got to be careful how we talk about that as working. Low house edge bets are going to keep you pretty stable. The reason why the Horseman wins is not simply because low house edge, it's because of the bet rhythm. It's the bet rhythm. It takes advantage of those short rolls better than almost any strategy. Most strategies falter. Even the 3-point Molly, all low house edge bets, right? Come with odds, or pass line, come odds. That thing gets killed on short rolls, right? You go with the average roll of 3.75 for the resolutions. Those bets get killed on the short runs. This one hammers it a little bit. That don't pass with the come bet. The combination hammers the short roll, and then it's how you play it after that. I think there's a combination of low house edge plus the typical rhythm that we see at a table that makes it a little bit different. And as long as you play it with discipline and money management, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay with it. There is a hedge built into it once the come bets are set, and that's where a lot of people say, it's a hedge like everything else. You're not going to win. It's okay. I'm not trying to win up there. I'm trying to win early, and if it goes past the third come bet, okay, most of the time you're going to lose a unit. Honestly, you're going to lose the 3 come bets and win the don't pass. That happens so many times, right? You put up with that. You put up with that because there is some bigger wins in the early stages, and that's it. So anyway, I think that's all I got, guys. Let's ride. Let's go play it out. What do you think? Let's go actually let's go here. We'll go to the daily paycheck table and let's play it out. Let's play her out. I'm going to move this out of my way. Let's do it Ken style today. We'll do 5. Actually, you know what we can do? Let's do it, let's see. We have all purple chips here. Let's do it, though, a little bit higher ratio today. Let's just change it up a little tiny. I'm going to go $600 per. So we'll get 4 change for that, okay? Which makes it a little messy, I know. It's not the greatest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $600. And the reason for that is we'll do 3 to 1 today. 3 to 1 ratio, just to look at a little bit of a different version of it. 3 to 1. And here again, here's our 3 bullets right there in the front of the rack. We're not going to mess with them. We're not going to touch them. I'll put them this way. You can see them better. We're not going to dig in at all. We're just going to try and replace what's in our rack. Here we go. Puck will be off. I'm going to come out, get a couple of throws in today, and hopefully we have a good little run here. We'll just play for a few minutes. It's 7:55. I really do have to cut out early today to prep for a meeting, but let's give it a couple shooters worth. Here we go. And I'll do Ken's FU bet in the end. All right, we got us a 5, it looks like. Is that a 5? I think it is. I think it's a 4 and a 1. Let's get that out of the way. Can you all see the dice okay? 4, 1. All right, there's the 5, and here's our first come bet. Now, the 3 to 1 ratio is a little bit different, and this feels like, by the way, what I do at the casino with my normal bankroll. I'll do 25 and 10. 25, 10, 10, and 10. It's not quite 3 to 1. It's 2.5, whatever, but it's the best equivalent here. So that's what I would be doing in a casino, 25 and 10s. Dice. Let's go. Let's go. That looks like a yo, 11 yo. Now, JR is going to be screaming in chat right now. He's screaming, right? Press it up, right? The Grafstein way, the John way, the being aggressive way is to go take the freebies and go. Like that's a free bet, right? The disciplined way, bring this back and put it back in the rack. Still have 2 bullets left. My 1 bullet's still out there. That's the right way to do this. Not be super aggressive. However, I wish I could press it. Here we go. There's aces. Look, I gave it right back. Gave it right back. That's a bummer. So we'll take it. Again, that comeback loses. I'm not digging into that profit. We took that money back. I'm not going back. It's 3 bullets, right? That bullet lost. It won 1 and it lost 1, but it's done. That bullet did its thing. It just basically got wiped out, right? Or it canceled itself out. Here we go. Oh my God, another one. Another aces. Jeez, Alou. Lose 3rd bullet. So the best we can do now is win 4, right? We won 1 earlier. The best we can do is win 4 here. Oh boy, 7 out. All right, there's the 7. 6 of 1. So there's 3 and 1, right? Started out with how many units? 6. Right, that was our starting thing. We got 2 units back in profit. Now look at my rack back here, right? There's 500. Let me make that look like this. Boom, boom, right? If I come back here, these 5 units, there's my starting bankroll. There's my $300 in profit. Okay, doesn't take much to get it done. Doesn't take much to get it done. You can walk with that. I'm going to have $5,000 bankroll here, so we're not going to walk. We're going to keep on playing. But there's the next the next $600. $300 in the don't. We'll do 1, 2, 3. And again, it's a rhythm thing, right? The rhythm of the roll. Rhythm of the roll really helps us out. Where's my dice? There we go. Another shooter. Again, you should be home right now, right, Ken? Go home. Go home. I got a few. Yeah, bye, y'all. Bye, y'all. You are sweating to come out at 3 to 1 for sure. Now, here's the thing, Gary, right? We won $300, right? If you remember, Jacob from Wage Me This used to say this all the time, right? If you won on the previous shooter, right? I've got $300 in profits in here. I can take this one as greens, right? And I can drop a quarter, right, on the reds, right? We can take that $100 and go quarter, 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 right? And take our crack at protecting us from the come out 7 here. Is it worth 100 of your $300 or 75 out of your $300 to go and try and save this? Is it worth it, right? Which, obviously it pays $375, right? So you end up winning a quarter on a 7 now. A 7 becomes a profit center for you for $75 out of your previous win. If you've won, not a bad bet. And again, that's a Jacob thing. I don't typically do that, but it's something for us to think about, right? If you've won before, but you're not quite at goal, burn part of it to save this bet, because that's an important bet to save at $300. I wouldn't hedge it out of my core bankroll, though. I think hedging it out of a win might not be the worst thing in the world. Okay, but here we go with a 5 and a 5. There's the 10. Let's come on out. I think this belongs there. I'm not doing it, so I just was showing it to you. Here we go. Let's get it done, baby. Let's get her done. First bullet. It's a 9, 5 and a 4. Ah, that rolled all over the place on me. Sorry. That was a 9, not an 8. Second bullet. That was really bad dealing right there. Totally skittered those dice around. Here we go. Come on. Let's get another 9. What do you think? That's going to be a 5 and a 5. It's the 10. We picked our point. Not good. Not good. Lose that. This travels up. Third bullet. Now again, you can do it two ways. You can wait for the point and make it a come bet, or you can play as a pass line bet, which is the same thing. Okay? In this situation, I don't mind doing this because, again, if a 7 comes in here, I have a wash. It'll be a net loss of 1 versus a net loss of 2. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter. I've taught for years, wait for the number, do a comeback. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter. It's just about the rhythm you want to play in. Let's work it here on the come out, though. Oh, we got a 9, 5 and a 4. Sweet. All right. Puck goes to the 9. That comes off and gets paid. And again, discipline comes back to the rack. Right? You could say, well, keep on letting them roll. Always have three of these come bets running all the time. That's an option you've got. Another option you've got is to take that and make 4 place bets. Right? You've already got the 10 and the pass line. Right? I got my bullet back in the rack. Right? I could take that, grab 4 greens and go 4, 5, 6, 8. Right? For now, let's play it straight up. We'll let them resolve. Maybe the next shooter I'll show you how to do that. Here we go. Give me a 9 or a 10. A 6, 4 and a 2. That was a great throw, Johnny. 4, 2, 6. That looks like a 10. Look at this. Look at me picking off the 10. That's my third 10 on the shooter. You gotta love it. There's the 10. Hey, a brother. Here we go. I think we have. Look at that. We have our shooter back. There's 5. That's our $5,000 bucks. We have $100 in profit, and a bet still sitting out here. Now again, we burned that don't, but we got it back. We got it back. Let me see a 9. Let me see a 9 out of these dice. Come on now. 8, 5, 3. Dice are sitting nice today, aren't they, folks? You watching those things land down there and basically do nothing? Come on, give me a 9. Give me a 9. A little 6, 3, 9 right here would be awesome. 6, 3, come on. 7. 5, 2. That was actually not a bad shooter, if you think about it, right? So where are we at? We're up $100. We were up 300 before. Now we're up 100. We burned $200 on that shooter, even though we got picked off. All right, new shooter. There's our 6. 3 on the don't. 3 bullets. Here we go. This time I will, if I get a comeback to win. If it wins in the come, like with an 11, I'm gonna stack it. If it wins as a comeback, I'm gonna place the numbers. We're gonna do a little bit more right side aggressiveness this time, just for funsies. Just for funsies. Here we go. Randy, what do I do if I get hit twice on the come out? Do I go back with 2 units again? Well, if we get the come out whack here, we're gonna put all 3 units in the come. Or don't pass. We're just gonna go ahead and go all in. That's the Ken tweak. I do like that tweak. Here we go. There's a 6. 3 and a 3. Hard 6. Let's go. First bullet. Pardon me. Ooh, hit the back wall directly. There's an 11. Yo, remember what I said? Our aggressive shooter is right here. That's a natural. We'll stack it up. We're gonna stack that bad boy up. Ken's gonna be like screaming at his phone, like, "What are you doing, you fat bastard? Don't do that." JR's going, "That's exactly what Grafstein would have you do, right? That's exactly what you do. Take those come winners and make them make a difference here, right?" I think bet level alteration is a great way to flip variance for you. As long as we don't get like a horn number in here, right? Now of course that big ass bet goes to the 10, which is not the greatest, but whatever. 2 on the 10. Bullet number 2. Boy, let's hit a 10 here, huh? Let's knock that 10 down. Come on. Let's knock that 10 down. Here we go. That's going to be a 7. Bummer. Took a shot at it. We didn't get our bonus win up here, which is okay. That'll lose, but we'll get paid 3, 4. Here's our shooter back, right? But actually, that 5 units is a purple chip. There's our $5,000 back, and here's 400 in profit now. So we were up 3. We lost a couple hundred, and then last guy, here we go up 100, and now we're up to 4. So looking pretty stout, right? Again, that didn't work. Stacking that one win up didn't work for us, but again, it's an aggressive move. Here we go. One more time. One more shooter's worth. Let's do it. Let's get $600 out there. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm ready. I am ready. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're right. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. Last shooter of the day. Last shooter of the day. I do have to get ready. I got that 8:30 meeting. I got to get it. Got to get prepped, so I'm going to stop it here. Hopefully, nice, easy resolution. Oh, it's a 4. Look at that. Is that our first 4 today? It might be our first 4. Let's go there. First bullet. First bullet. Here we go. A little short of a roll. It's an 8, 5, 3. Here's the 8. Second bullet's out there. We walk out of here with profit today, even though we should have already been home. Should have already been home. Twice. We made it profit of 3, a profit of 4. Could you say we're 2-0? I don't know. Oh no, what a terrible throw. It's a 5. Whew. They bounced out of my hands, rather. Flew out of my hands. Second bullet. Third bullet's out. Now here's, again, with the tweak of going 3 units here, right? If we 7 out now, right, we win 4 and lose 2, right? It's a 2-unit win on this last one, which is a beautiful thing. Here we go. Give brother a 7. Give a brother a 7. Let's go. It's a 7. It's a 7. It's a 5-2. I almost called my own shot. Look at that. All right. Awesome. 5 and the 8 lose. We win 1, 2, 3, and 1 there. This looks like I'll take my blacks out of my rack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a purple. That's my starting bankroll. That's my 5K. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $600. So we won 300. We won 400. We won 600. I think it's a pretty good day. And again, it's a simple little system as long as you don't go hog ass crazy with it. That's the big thing. Don't go nuts, right? Don't go. Let me go back over here again. Let's go here. There we go. Okay. Oh, I got to turn the light off too. Yeah, we don't want to go too crazy with it. And I'll mark the win down today in a little bit here. Let's go to Q's and A's. Are there any Q's and A's? Where's my, oh, there we go. Wow, sorry about that. Let's get this over here too. And let's see what's in chat. Probably not a whole lot in chat today, but yes. So I've done it a couple of ways. The question is, have I ever done this with a come, continuous come, not continuous, right? I'll leave, if I have, again, the 500 bucks, let's go to the table, right? If we have, I'll do it at my normal level, right? 25, let's say we've got 10, 10, and 10, okay? And the 8 gets hit, right? Here's an option, right? The 8 comes down and gets hit, like so, right? What I'd like to do is, if I'm gonna keep on playing, I'll take the 20 and go 10 and 5, or something like that, right? Or I'll take the original bet back to the rack only, just take the original back, put it here so you can see it, and play with the winnings. Put the winnings somewhere, right? Alternatively, if the 8 comes down and gets paid, take the original bet, leave it in the come. And always have 3 bets going. No odds, just let 3 bets kind of cycle themselves through. That's fine too. When I was in Reno and I played with the Hawaiians at one time, this is what I did. I did 25, 10, 10, 10. And as the 9 hit, what actually happened was this. The 9 actually came down, it was like this. I'll never forget the roll because it was such a weird roll. The 9 comes down, it gets paid, right? And I place the 9. And I take this back to my rack, right? At the end of that roll, this comeback was still sitting there. He never threw a 5. But my 9 was at $1,000. I pressed up to $1,000, right? Come to place, now you have your options and you're not sweating the come out rolls. Is a good way to do it. Perpetual coming is good. Just keep it at 3. Don't go Arnold where you're coming for 6 numbers. Just keep 3 cycling. And if they pay, rack, pay it, rack it, pay it, rack it, let them keep going. Every time you're in this situation, you're going to win, right? Even if you got money in your rack, the 7 comes right here, you're winning 35 and losing 20. You're up 15 bucks, right? It's not a bad call to do that. You're never going to catch a heater though. And that's the thing that I think you have to be okay with, right? If you're going to do that, just replace the come with the come and not take odds, you're never going to catch a heater. You're basically same betting a flat amount on a heater roll, right? If you take your come bet down, let's say it comes into the come, it gets paid, take your payment, make it odds on a different one, let the new bet come, let those bets kind of cycle themselves. You can catch it, but boy, it takes a long time, right? So either you collect it only, right? Or you replace them as place bets and take the original bet back and make the place bets kind of paid for, and then do your thing from there. But again, when you watch us play this thing, right? It wins because we don't do that shit. Right? The only aggressive move I made there was to hammer the come natural. Sometimes I'll hammer the don't. Like if I catch a win on a don't, an early one, I may go up a unit on the don't with my profit money, right? Those are the things you do to alter bet levels to catch the variance. If you go too far off the rails with it, you're going to end up having it have a problem, right? If you can convert to right side on a simple level like that, then that's fine. But yeah, if I get whacked on my second don't, I don't start again. I do not. So here's the question. If I'm starting out with, let's go the 600 bucks here. If I start out with, let's do the quarter bet. This is easier, right? If I have a quarter like this, right? Let's say we get whacked. Oh, that sucked. We go out for 30 on the next one and that gets whacked. We're just done. Let the shooter do its thing and we're done. Okay. There's a part of me that sometimes gets antsy and I'll go, okay, if I'm really antsy, I'll do a minimum bet 6 and 8 just to have something to do while I'm waiting for the shooter out. But even then you're digging into this bankroll to make that happen. So there's a chance there to do that if you really feel like you need to keep playing. But no, I won't let the 500 bucks or the 5 units per shooter is a strict limit. And like Jimmy did this the other day, and Jimmy's thing. Every time the don't lost, he went back out for more. It's perpetual. You can't keep doing that because somebody who goes on a weird run is going to catch you, right? Just budget it. And it's okay. Like just take a break. Go get a drink or something and you just got to do it. All right. Frank, I'm hearing you, baby. I'm hearing you, baby. Yeah, the house edge does not account for variance at all. It's almost like variance... The house edge is there every bet. Like that's the thing. It's the commission on the bet. It's just there. Variance is where money's made and lost. And I say this a lot, and some people don't understand it or don't believe it. Variance is where money is made, right? If everything was perfect pyramid, right? which it is over 1 billion rolls. The house edge accounts for all that. The house edge is just a commission on the perfect pyramid. That's all that it is. And that's how the casinos do their thing. Throughout the creation of the pyramid, right? In the 100 rolls that you're there, in the 700 rolls that you're there for the weekend, whatever it is, you're going to never be in the perfect pyramid. You're going to be in a variant of some kind, right? That variant and your bet sizing within the variant is how you make and lose money. That's the secret to this whole thing. It's you can't. Even all my mathematician friends will confirm that statement. You win money or lose money when the variant happens. More 7s or less 7s, more 6s or less 6s, no 5s or a bunch of 9s. Whatever's going on at the table, if you're on it when it's happening and how much money you have on it when it does happen, that's where you win a bunch or lose your ass. It's a variant always, that's it. The house edge doesn't care about that. They don't care at all about variance. This casino could give 2 shits about variance because they know that in 1 million rolls, there is no variance. In 1 million rolls, the delta is 0.00001%. They don't care about variance. We care about variance because in the short term, variance is like a sledgehammer, right? When you're in a variant like this, where you're getting PSO, 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 you bye-bye, get out of there, right? You hammer the variant when it's there because the next time you come, it's going to be the opposite for you, right? You're going to end up being here and here. So when it happens and you can take advantage of it, you take advantage of it. It's all about leaning into opportunity, right? When it's happening, you ride the wave until the wave crashes. And then when it crashes, you got to be disciplined enough to walk and don't fight back. Sometimes you don't fight back. You just say, enough is enough. I won my money and I'm getting out of here. It's important, man. It's important to understand how variance works in this stuff. House edge is important, but it's not the be all and end all. It's not the decision maker. House edge is not the reason to play a bet. It's not. It's just not. It helps, lose less, whatever. It's not the reason to make a bet. Sometimes the high house edge bets, played correctly, can make you pretty consistent money. It just, like I said, it's the variant. Anyway, I got to get out of here. I'm late for that meeting. I'm not late, but I got to get my prep in. So, I got to... my throat just kind of closed up. All right, you guys are awesome. I'm gonna say this. My final thoughts are all of the things. I'm gonna repeat what I said in the very beginning. Okay, works in craps, works in roulette, works in Bach, works in pro football or hockey or whatever else. Right? Winning is pretty special and it's hard to come by. Like I said, as an Eagles fan, I went from 19. Well, I was 12 in 1980 when the Eagles went. I was 12 years old when they went to their first ever Super Bowl, right? I was in my 30s the next time they went. Like, it is a long time, right? It's hard to win. It's hard to win in football. It's hard to win in baseball. It's hard to win in hockey. It's hard to win right here on this table, right? When it happens, you got to be like, hell yeah, baby. Like, you work hard for it. Enjoy every second of the win. Don't make a bad decision because of it. Don't go climbing the poles in Philadelphia and getting yourself killed, right? Make a smart call, right, when you get a win. And again, I'm going to leave you with this, right? I know he's not here in chat, but everybody, please put your hands together, say a quick prayer for Waylon and his family. Zach apparently did really good with the chemo. I think he's going to come out of it. I don't want to say no worse for wear, but he's going to come out of it just fine, which is great. So the Waylon, the Stagner family, got a big win over the weekend, and I couldn't be happier for them. So God bless Waylon and all of you. Okay, have a great evening, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Until then, God bless. See you later.